don't pay for that. That's
Correct.
covered under the grant, and then what you had then, draw us the picture what that looks like in terms of, for the employer.
So we will come in and we'll do a pre-test of all of your employees that are going to participate, and then we do a roundtable similar to this with different language learners, and we really focus on their level. So some are illiterate in their own, in their own language. So if that's the case, they're lower level, we'll separate them and put them in one group. Then we'll have the intermediate and the higher levels in separate groups, and really go work with you to say, okay, I need safety training, I need a new production line is coming up, we need help explaining this. With one of our companies, they had an issue with some of the staffing companies were coming in, and there was an African American population coming in, and they were Spanish-speaking supervisors, so there was a cultural issue that we were working with them. So there's many different ideas that are coming out of this, but it's really focused on what you need, and then we will take, the issue was many of the manufacturers were using different training techniques that were taking 3 or 4 hours a week, and you couldn't get them offline. So this is a real, like, 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you can afford to take your people off the line, then we'll work with you on that. And it's not, they're not going to be obviously just brilliant speakers and with an hour a week, but you can really focus their levels to what you need.
Yeah, but you just want to keep consistent.
Exactly.
Reinforce. You're not going to absorb it all in one fell swoop anyway, so.
Right.
That makes sense.
And then this way, if there are 20 different languages, it works, because it's instructor-led. So we're doing it now with tutors, which is a little scary because it's a free program. That's why we went to the Department of Commerce, and we're actually getting funding to pay for instructors to come in and do it.
I mean, would it work if, say we started working with Jay and we got people for them, you could come to my office and do it before they started with them? And then that way they're not taking any time off, so by the time they get to Jay, they've already been through the process.
This is for current workers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Yes.
if we were sending Jay 50 temps and he wanted those 50 to go through the process you're talking about, we could do it on site in my office before they get to him, so that he's not taking his valuable time to do that.
But we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
so just as an example, that would be,
Oh, yeah.
because part of what we do is we're not just sending temps, we're coming up with solutions to build relationships with our companies.
Yeah,
We're not day labour, we don't do that. So that's how we're always looking for ways that we can work with the community and with our customers.
Okay, good.
So that's something that might be, so we should,
Sure.
we'll talk about that as well,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about time.
Yeah.
We have a facility in Carol Stream, they can come to our office, we can do it then, by the time they set foot in your building, they're ready to go.
Well, that would,
Say it.
I like where you're going.
Yeah.
It makes it, yeah, no, that,
So,
yep.
And that would be good for the one-on-one tutoring
yeah,
as well.
that's what I'm thinking, yeah. And we e-verify everybody, so you're not gonna have any issues with. They all go through the e-verify system before they get to you.
That's
So-
good.
Good.
I really feel a lot of energy here, and I think that Miriam's point at the very beginning about the first step in this conversation and ongoing, because you've brought up surface things that are very important to you right now, but there's more umbrella issues that we'll need to dig into, and unless the people who serve you, educators, municipalities, chambers, are aware of those things, and we ask those questions to you, we don't know which resources to connect you with. And so I hope that you'll continue to join Miriam in these conversations.
Yeah, I think this is really critical, because I think for a chamber, it's critical that we know who's in our community, B, what does our community need in terms of the business, and I'm talking about the business community, the educational community. So we're really talking about segmenting. We're really looking at every single segment in Carroll Stream and saying, okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to do to bring people to the table, just to address their specific challenges and needs, and how do we start these conversations, and the goal is to continue the conversation, because I wholeheartedly agree with Kathy. We literally today have just scratched a bit of the surface. But what's cool is that we now have literacy of DuPage, you know, saying, let's talk with Val over at a staffing to figure out how do we serve Jay, who has staff with 7 different dialects of Spanish, and he wants his employees to be happy, and also balance the fact that he has to make money at the end of the day, and how do we facilitate that for you? So I think this to me is what Chamber is all about. So if we look at our vision statement and our mission statement, at the end of the day, it comes down to 3 words. At the Chamber, we are the connector, catalyst, and champion. All those other words on that page are beautiful, make sense, but we really want to act as the connector, the catalyst, and champion for the business community here in Carroll Stream. So, are there other comments or questions you have to continue